and I'm very excited because I'm going to be sharing space with someone I recently met over the internet, and she's here, so I'm going to get her on. Yes, I will watch IPL after this, I promise.
Hi! Yay! It worked!
For a morning, and look at me with dark circles here, embracing it.
You are winding down, and I can't hear you very well for some reason.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, just a little bit. It's very quiet. How is that?
Yeah,
Oh, good. Now I can hear you.
but I think pause now.
Oh, here we go. There we
Yeah,
go.
you're good.
Okay, good. Yay, this worked. I'm so excited.
Yeah, I think I've ended up making such amazing connections over the internet in the last 1 year. So if someone that I have to travel the world physically to go meet new people, I'm gonna say no.
I know, right? I mean, it's the nice thing about the lockdown is that we can keep friends and make friends in spite of it. All of us being stuck at home is places like Instagram and Clubhouse. I've been doing a lot on Clubhouse also, and just making new friends so that when we can get back to real life, we can have people to visit. So that's really exciting.
Yeah, that is very exciting. Whoever thought that there could be a small positive from whatever we're going through right now?
Totally. Yeah, totally.
So, should we dive right in?
Yeah, let's go. So, I mean, we should tell everybody how we met because this is our first time speaking, but we've become friends over the internet. So, we should tell that story.
Okay, I think I will. It was, I think, a Tuesday morning for me, and I was just waking up and reading my morning news on the internet, and I stumbled upon your article literally. It said what Indian matchmaking didn't show was the other side of it all. And that got, I was like, wait, I've never read this article before.
Yeah.
And that got reading the article, the way you have explained your journey, the way you have gone through what you've gone through, I resonated so much. Not my lived reality, but I think what you said, how you lived it, such a great example for people to take on from, you know. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for just being a human being.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. And it comes full circle because it was not only difficult for me to live through, but part of what I wanted to do was to, I just wanted to be free. And sometimes it's harder to be free in real life. And sometimes it's easier to be free on the internet and when you write things. And so I wrote it, and it was rejected. My piece was rejected. In one place, I wanted to publish it in the New York Times, and it was rejected. And so then it was really difficult for me. And I thought, should I just quit? Maybe it's not a good piece. And then I said, no, this is a good piece. I know that people will resonate with it. And I kept trying. And then Elle magazine accepted it. And I just thought, oh, wow, this is like bigger than my dreams. And one of the things that she said, the amazing editor that worked with me, she said, we need to have some sort of hook. So can you put Indian matchmaking in it? And so I started to weave in the storyline of Indian matchmaking. And then now look at this. One of the stars from Indian matchmaking, like, you reached out to me, and I just was like, oh, I'm so excited. I can't even imagine. I couldn't imagine the reach of this piece. And every day, Ankita, I have to tell you, I get so many emails from people that say, I resonate with this. Men, I just thought it would be for women, but men resonate with this. Women who are not Indian or Indian American, who are from immigrant cultures or come from strong cultures, they resonate with this. Women who are career women, we have this dilemma. I mean, I think that we all struggle, and sometimes we need somebody just to admit it and share it. And then we feel like, oh, we're not alone. And right now we feel so alone in this pandemic and with everything that's going on, but our struggles are so much the same no matter where we live, and particularly as women. And so that has been the greatest gift. And And I'm just happy to be here, and I'm so thrilled that you had the courage to reach out to me, and that we're doing this. It's so exciting for me.
Tears in my eyes when I read the article. I said, wow, so this can actually become a reality.
Yeah.
And earlier today, before coming on this live, I was actually with another friend of mine, and I was telling him your story, and we were discussing this while playing badminton. And he looked at me, he's like, that is so true. Why does a divorce always have to be ugly? Why can't us be amicable because you didn't get along, and accept the person for whoever they are and just move on from it?
Yeah. And I have to say that I'm not like a spokesperson for divorce. I think divorce is terrible, and we should I believe that in our culture, Indian culture, we need to be having these conversations about marriage much earlier. Really, we think that it is just, okay, this person is from the same community, this person has good education, this person comes, knows my family. All of these things are often what we think are the basis for a good marriage, but in reality it is not. It takes so much more to make a happy marriage, and we're not having these honest conversations. And then when we don't, then we quote unquote make mistakes. I don't believe in mistakes. I think that everything happens for a reason, and everything in my life has happened for a reason. So I don't say that I'm like a proponent of or advocate for divorce. I think that
I think you're a proponent advocate for just acceptance of people who they are.
Yes.
Right?
You're right. Yeah. And I can say that it wasn't always this way, that everybody has their own path, and sometimes it takes a long time. I can say that the same sort of dynamic that was happening inside the marriage was happening outside the marriage. The same thing that bugs you about your partner when you're married still bugs you after you're married. It's no solution, but you come to a different emotional place of acceptance, and then when you accept, you can then move forward from a different place. And that, to be honest, took some time, right? It didn't happen overnight. It was its own journey. But when we accept, and we can create new possibilities, and that's what I'm excited to do. Is I have a very good relationship with my ex-husband. We were together this morning. We're going to see each other later. We're going to have dinner together as a family. We can write our own rules, Ankita, and this. I think that you demonstrated this on that show. We write our own rules. We sometimes don't remember that. We feel imprisoned by the rules that we think are held on us by our parents, our culture, whatever it is. But no, we can set ourselves free. And I think that that's what resonates so much to me about you, is that you decided, no, this is not right for me. I'm not going to force myself. I want to do things on my own path. And that is what I think we all should be doing, not just men, not just women, men also, but particularly women, women.
Yeah. Which actually brings me to a very interesting question, something I didn't share with you earlier, because I want this to be absolutely on the spot. So if Shibani was a show on Netflix, what would she fall under?
Drama. Drama and suspense. Every day there's drama.
One day I reached out to you. No wonder. I could just feel it. And when people walk up to me and say that you got too much drama, like I've had men leave me for this particular reason, saying, I'm just like, I don't think you know that life can be exciting.
Yeah.
So black and white. Yeah. I feel that the grays in between are so important for you to figure out whether you really want to be a black or a white.
Yeah. I think with the drama comes the ups and the downs, but that's where the excitement lies. And I think that that's very natural. And I don't know, you're right. It makes life more exciting.
Yeah, it does. It definitely does make life a lot more exciting. So yes. So today I'm going to try playing the role that you play with everybody usually. Yes. This is my first time we're trying to interview somebody, and I'm really excited about that. And you said that we need to start having these conversations, we need to start looking at things differently. If you were given the opportunity, what is that one thing that you would change about marriage or the perception of marriage in society today, especially in Indian society?
Yeah, I think that's such a good question. I think that I would probably have a lot of things I would change. First, I would do two things. I would one thing I didn't appreciate, because I think you can probably relate to this as an entrepreneur, as a successful woman, is we always feel that we can do anything. If I have difficult circumstances, I can overcome it. I can change things. But what I have come to learn about life is that you can't change people. And so if there are things that maybe are troubling for you and are difficult for you in a relationship before you get married, you have to sort of accept that those traits in a person will not change after marriage. We cannot change one another. The only people we can change is ourselves. And it doesn't mean we can't change as people, and a couple cannot change. But you cannot enter a marriage thinking, I will be able to work this out and change this person. And I had that false belief that I thought, oh, okay, certain things don't match up, but I'll change that. I can do anything. I've done hard things before. And I think that that's not true. I can only change myself, and we can evolve and change together. That's possible. Yeah. And then the other thing is I actually saw this clip from Priyanka Chopra not that long ago, and she said something that, especially in Indian culture, women, for up until the point you get married, you need to study, you need to get good grades or good marks, you need to look good, we need to be thin, we need to do all these things, right? And then we get married, we get this sense of independence and empowerment, and we have to be sort of the best. And then you get married, and then you kind of become an accessory. Then you become the one that has to be submissive or flexible. You have to give up your career, you have to move in with your in-laws, you have to change your life. And I saw this clip from Priyanka, and she said, why can't the men do that? And that's what I think the real conversation is that there's so much empowerment that's still left on the table for us, but also men have to be a part of that. And if we really want to be equal, it has to be equal before and after marriage, and it has to include men, and men have to start acknowledging that and learning that from their mothers, learning that from their sisters, learning that from society. That's the only way we're going to see real change, is if we have 100% of the community come together.
I absolutely agree with you. I mean, you've taken words out of my mouth. Though I've become of the opinion now that I think marriage is a very societal construct anyway. Yeah. It's just been made so it's easier for a man and a woman to live together. Yeah. But I anyways love somebody enough, I would live with them and not think about leaving them because society will think I'm wrong.
I want to ask you this, Ankita. We'll just go back and forth. I mean, how is the construct of marriage changing in India right now? One of the things that I wrote, and I know you picked up on, is that my parents left India in 1970s, right? So, and they came here with that frozen picture of India and raised me and my siblings with that frozen picture. And so many things have happened in those 40, 50 years, right? So how do you think it's changing in India for the better, that we need to also celebrate and share in the evolution of our culture?
I mean, there's a really long way to go still. I come from a space of a lot of liberal parenting where I have the opportunity and the space to say and do things I'd like. And if you have to compare India and America only as two countries, and if you have to compare Indian Americans to Indians living in India, yeah, this is a conversation I've been having with myself and a couple of other people as well since Indian Matchmaking released, and I got to know so many people in the US who are Indian Americans. Mm-hmm. I realized that when their parents moved to America, they moved with a box of culture. that was their defining identity, right?
Frozen, yeah, and frozen. Yeah.
They took it with them.
Yeah.
They have come back all this while to see the progress we have made as a generation in terms of traditions, in terms of understanding religion, and understanding what actually culture means, right? We're evolving with India right now, but I feel in America, people are still stuck on that 60s, 70s when they moved. They still understand marriage or culture from that point of view.
I agree.
Right? So whoever acted with in America vis-a-vis my circle in India, and I'm only going to talk about the circle I live in or my lived reality because
that's all we know, right? Yeah.
Talk about. I mean, I can't talk about other people's experiences with marriage or their non-marriage, right? I've come to realize that as a generation in India, we're way more liberal towards this thought process than the youngsters in America would be.
Yeah.
You know, we are to have this conversation. We're willing to question. We're willing to challenge this construct and say that why does it need to exist for a woman to form an identity?
Yeah.
You know,
I think I think a lot of those conversations, you know, in America, we're having that conversation about race. We're having those conversations about gender. You know, why do we get paid less money? Why are we during the pandemic as women doing more of the housework, doing more of the domestic work, and then expected to give 110% at our job and then receive 70 cents on the dollar for pay? It doesn't make any sense. There is a lot of movement going on in the whole globe, I think, in a very positive, progressive way. And it's so exciting. And for us to move as a gender, you need to do it where you're living. I need to do it where I'm living. And every society in between needs to do it, because then we have a movement, right? We have real sustained change, and we live in a global environment now. Look at us talking. I mean, 10 years ago, this would not be possible. Yeah. Now we're doing these things, and who knows what 10 years from now is going to look like. So we are more connected more than ever, and we face so many of the same challenges and circumstances, I think, that we ever appreciated until now. And like shows like Matchmaking, I think they show you know, what is so fascinating is that so many of my friends in the United States, you know, they're from different Asian cultures, they're from different European cultures, they grew up in different places, and they got to watch that show, and they came to understand Indian culture on a new level. And I just thought, wow, this is so amazing that we also have the interest in it, because I don't think there was interest before. Everybody was so isolated. I just care about my things. But now we want to understand one another. And the show, I think, shared our culture with other people, the positives and negatives, and then exploded this conversation. And you can tell me what you think. Exploded the conversation of, why do we do the things that we do? Like, who says this is right, you know? And I'm curious to know from you, like, you know, the good thing, and I work on TV, and I watch myself and I learn myself, and sometimes I say, oh my God, I can't believe I said that. Like, what did you learn about yourself by watching that show, right? Maybe for positive and negative, because we see ourselves as a third party, and we see ourselves, and sometimes I say, oh God, what was I doing? Did you have any of those moments when you watched the show?
I actually had quite a few moments when I saw myself on TV, and I felt I could have conveyed a message in a more clear manner. I could have spoken in a more structured manner, but you know, when the camera is facing you and you have to say everything on spot, I anyways have a brain that I call a khichdi, okay?
Yeah.
So when talking, I know what I want to say, but when I'm talking, everything will come out so messed up anyways, because I want to say things together.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there's anything in particular that caught my attention, because everything happened so quickly for me, so quickly. The entire transition was so quick for me, and I haven't had the courage to go back and watch myself again. Yeah. So now, even though I have time to do it and kind of process the things I said, I don't think I would change anything at all, to be honest.
That's great. That's how you want to live your life. Would you do it again? If they said we're doing matchmaking 2, do you want to come back on? Would you go back on?
It totally depends on how their structure fits into my current life space right now.
Okay.
So, because I need to also consider things that are happening in my life at the moment, right?
Yeah.
I wouldn't just be okay doing anything and everything because it looks great or seems great, but it needs to definitely fit into the framework that I have going on for me right now. Otherwise, the authenticity of the show will be at stake.
Yeah, but you're not saying no either, so that's good.
If Indian matchmaking has taught me a couple of things, and if one of them is never say no, because you don't know what yes opportunity can come your way.
Yeah, yeah, you know? That's awesome. Yeah.
If your intuition says yes, your intuition says yes, and I tend to function by my intuition a lot. I end up making a bunch of horrible blunders and mistakes, but so it's I accept it.
But that is what I think people like about you, Ankita. I feel like out of all of the characters, I feel like in characters, right, it's your real life, but as a viewer, we view it like a show, right? But I think you were one of the most relatable, authentic, and the quote-unquote blunders, I think, made you more real, and I think made you more endearing that way, right? You just felt that you were a real person, and you had some real like struggles, right? You were really trying to figure out what's my voice, and you were sharing it, and we followed you, and we, you know, walked with you along that, and I thought that that was very unique about you. I just felt that you were the most honest one, you know, like you were just so real, and I think that we're living in a time right now that we need that. We need to show that. And that's part of why I wrote my article. You know, you can look at my life from the outside and say, oh, everything must be perfect. And nobody's life is perfect. And the more that we talk about it and we share, the more we feel connected to one another. And then we realize that we're not alone. And right now, we're also alone because we're stuck in the house all the time. We can't go see our friends. Yeah. We can't do all these things. So the more that we can share in these different platforms, the more we realize how similar we are. And I think that that's really necessary right now.
Yeah, everything that you said in the article, it was real, and I saw the vulnerability that you came across with. And I anyways love people who are vulnerable because it takes a lot of strength, a lot of awareness to be that vulnerable in life. I feel vulnerability is an advantage.
I think so too.
Advantage at all.
And it's hard because I think culturally, and you can tell me if this is your experience with culture, is that there is such a emphasis on, you know, like not perfection, but you don't share these things outside the family, right? Certain things are private, and what will people think, right? So we have to keep everything inside, like you said, a box. We have to keep everything inside of a box that our family knows. It's very private. We don't want to share it. And that puts a lot of weight on us, you know, things that you can't see and you can't feel. And I don't know, I just don't, that was very difficult for me because culturally I was raised that, you know, we don't share these things outside the family. And for me to put something so intimate, let's face it, intimate and shameful for my family, right? Very shameful, and just put it out there. It was very difficult, but I wrote about this, about the story behind my stories. I shared my article with my parents. I shared it with my ex-husband. I asked for their blessing. I didn't, you know, that's not also my style, is to, you know, just drop something on them and say, guess what, you know, everything's out in the open. I asked for their permission, and I got their blessing, but it's still 1,000 emails from people in just a week and a half. I understand this. I relate to this. I appreciate this. but maybe I've gotten 5. And it's not many, but those are the 5 I remember, right? I remember the most, those that give me some criticism. And that's hard, because it's your life. So as you put your life out there, how do you handle the criticism and the negativity that people can put out there and think that they know you and they know everything about you? Like, how do you manage all of that? Because now you're a public person, right? And people feel like, oh, I know her. I can DM her and I can just tell her whatever I want about her own life. And they don't know you, they don't know you really. How do you handle like the naysayers that come into your space?
There are different categories of naysayers that come into my space. Some end up showing me the mirror, which I need to see too.
Yeah.
And I have, over the course of these years, become very accepting that I'm not always going to be right and perfect.
Yeah.
So saying something that my subconscious mind understands to be true, I will give it a thought. I may not respond to them or may not engage in a conversation with them, because that gives another person a lot of space to invade for the future.
Yeah.
But introspect and kind of reflect back and figure if this is something I need to work upon. Mostly when naysayers come my way or people come my way and tell me that, or even my parents for that matter, when they come and say that what you're saying is not right or what you're doing is not right.
Mm-hmm.
It's been 3 years I've been practicing this thought process that anybody and everybody who's coming and looking at your life and creating a space of negativity because of your actions, it's very crucial to remember that it's not about you. It's really about how they perceive themselves as human beings, right?
Yeah.
It's about how they perceive situations in front of them.
Yeah. That is so wise. You're so right. It is so true, but it's hard to remember that when they send you a nasty email, right?
Consciously made this into an effort in my life that the only person I probably still end up reacting to is my younger sister, because siblings barely ever get over this.
They know the buttons. Yeah.
But if it's anybody else who has a problem with anything I'm saying or doing, I block the noise.
Yeah.
Because even if they tell me at that moment, I won't understand, right? I'll take my own time and my own journey to know if they're saying what is right or wrong. But in most of the cases, if somebody is being negative towards what you're doing or saying, it's only and only because that's you themselves.
Yeah. That's so wise. And it's hard to remember, especially in the space of social media, where it's so easy to send a message or just click something. And that's the space, that's, a journey that I'm taking now, is to, as you put yourself and you're more vulnerable out and put your life out there, people have their opinions, and staying true and staying focused and not letting the noise. And I think that you said it right, that some of it is a mirror, and you have to decipher what's the mirror and what is the negativity of another person. And that can be difficult with strangers when you don't know their intentions.
Correct. Exactly. And a lot of times, just from a space of compassion, I'll say this, a lot of times, a lot of people would want to do stuff that you've done today, Shibani.
Yeah.
But they've not had the courage to do it. They've not had the space. They've not had the opportunity to do what you've done today.
Yeah.
And that also somewhere plays on them.
Yeah.
So you are the only person they can attack and say you're wrong.
Yeah.
Because to prove to themselves that they are right.
Yeah. That's true. It comes from insecurity in a way.
And I guess we're all insecure as human beings. I'm very insecure.
Yes.
I'm extremely insecure as a person.
Absolutely. As am I. We all have our own insecurities in different ways. And then when we see somebody that we feel that is mastering those insecurities that we have, that's where it triggers us. And that's something that, I look a lot at, is like, if somebody bothers me, I think, why is this person bothering me? Because it's not them that's bothering me. It is my interpretation of it, right? Something that they're doing is triggering that inside me. And I think that it's just so like enlightened to understand that it's us. We, again, going back to what I said, the only thing we have control over is ourselves, and the more that we invest and we look at ourselves, that's how our whole world changes, not by changing this person or saying this to another person. And that was, like you said, the upside and the benefit of the pandemic is that there's always I believe there's always a positive with a negative, always. And in my life, going through my divorce, my positive was that I came to know myself. I really relied on my spiritual tools and my spiritual upbringing and the power that I have and the connection I have with the higher powers. And I came to know myself more than I ever have. And for that, I can never say that I made a mistake, because there was a tremendous gift and an opportunity in the challenges that I face, and I believe that we all face. And I think that one of the things that we have to come to understand about life is we think that life is meant to be perfect. Like, we do this, we get our studies, we get a job, we find a partner, we have children, and happy, 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 happy. And then, oh no, let's avoid all of the, the pain. But when we accept the pain as, and the difficulties as, oh no, this is how we grow. This is how we change. This is how we evolve. Like, you start to be more open in life. And I think that has been the biggest change in my own life, is that I'm not trying to push away all the bad things, and push away, oh, I don't want to feel this, and this is bad. Now I just say, whatever comes, I can handle it, and just curious to see how you have, how you interpret the challenges in your own life.
Exactly how you do. I have stopped considering challenges to be an obstacle for me. Yeah. I feel it actually kind of boost my growth quite a bit. Yeah. Because then I'm fluttering around, looking for solutions, figuring it out. Sometimes I end up as a curveball in my bed for a day or two straight up because I don't know what to do. So this is a phoenix I got made when I realized that I think I function a lot like a phoenix.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I really have to fall to understand. Yeah. Parents will tell me, why don't you learn from our experience? Why don't you understand that we've been through life and we want to save you from those instances where you may fall,
Yeah. Which is very natural.
But I don't know. Till I don't get hurt on my own, till I don't burn on my own, I don't think I understand. And I don't think I ever will, to be honest.
No. That's the human experience. Yeah, that's the life is like a school, and we have to go through school on our own. It doesn't matter what we teach in the books or what our parents teach us, but we learn through our own experiences, the hard stuff and the good stuff, I think.
Yeah, I think the hard stuff and the good stuff is good stuff.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah, I like that. And so what's happening with your business, Ankita? How has the pandemic has been really hard for a lot of businesses? How is your clothing business doing? How have you been running it during this time?
So we've been online always. We've been an offline brick and mortar store, which also played a lot in favor for us because we were able to go international within like nights of Indian matchmaking release. With the second massive wave hit in India right now, everyone's business has taken that hit a little more than it did take last time.
Yeah.
Because I do feel like the lag of the last pandemic is also setting in now consciously, gradually.
Yeah.
People are realizing that they don't need to invest as much in material items anymore because where to go?
Yeah, I know.
Where to go?
Yeah.
So I think the consumer mind is in the middle of a shift right now, and we are seeing a bit of an impact of that on our business right now. But hopes are up, hopes are high. started this brand with a purpose. So we're not shutting shop anytime soon.
Good. Yeah.
We can do is like you rightly said, right? Like this is a challenge for us. So how are we going to navigate and reform through it is something that Gayatri and I are continuously like having conversations over. Rather,
Yeah.
it's her conversation with me as a monologue because
Yeah.
sure you do what you want to do.
Yeah.
I'm here. I'm supporting you.
Yes.
It's good. Yeah. So that's what is up. What are you up to these days? I read you were freelancing, right? You're
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
Doing
Yeah, so I continue to work. My background is business and journalism, so I work with a lot of different TV networks, and I do things, and the internet is and social media has created really amazing opportunities. We can do things like that. I can create my own quote unquote brand, right? Being a independent journalist, and after having written this piece, I also think that I would like to write a book one day, and my book is not going to be about, I'm much more than being divorced. I am about empowering oneself, and that because that is my path and that is my journey. And how do we let go of labels and our attachments to our identities and things, and really come into our own power. And I want to write about that because that has been my experience, and that is what I think is really the theme of what I'm getting these emails and these text messages and these DMs about is we all want more, and we feel so limited, and like something's on our neck that we have to do this thing. As women, we feel like we have to look a certain way and we have to be a certain way. And then if you're a professional, you feel like you have to be a certain way. If I'm a mother, so then I have to act in this way, and all of these roles just make me feel small. And I just want to break all that stuff. I want to be who I am, ever evolving. I know you want to be who you are. Yeah. And that is what makes us the same. That is what makes us the same. And that is, I think, what is happening all around the globe is we're all now saying the pandemic has changed our lives. Who are we? Who do we want to be? Which things do we want to leave in the past? Which things do we want to bring in the forward? And we can write our own rules for ourselves. And that's the message that I want to explore in my work, and then start to speak to people about it and create communities around it. Because as we said earlier, sometimes you just need somebody to bring it into the open. And then when they do, you realize, wow, so many people feel this way. And so I feel that I've opened the door on that. And I just want to keep opening the door and inviting people to have that conversation. And I want to write about it. So that's what's coming next for me. And I'm really excited about it. And this gave me such a good reinforcement about that, Ankita, because I think that, when I get these such positive responses to the things that I write, and that I could create this response that makes you want to say, I want to contact her. I want to talk to her. I want to have this conversation. I think I'm so glad I wrote this, and I have so many more things to say, and you have so many more things to say. So let's have these conversations, and we can do those on social media, and we can do those because of this world that we're living in. And I'm so excited for my future. I'm so optimistic. I'm happy. I'm the happiest I've been ever, and and it's just gonna grow, and it came through me walking through the fire. It didn't come from me avoiding it, right? And that's, I think, what we have to get the message out to everybody, like, be yourself. And you do that. I think that you did that on screen in audiences of millions for the whole world, and that's why I think people really resonate with you.
You're really kind. Thanks. But I totally fangirled over you when I read the article, and I looked you up on Instagram, and the next thing I knew, you were following me, and I was like, wow, I must have done something so great with me and my Instagram. Like
Yeah.
this digital era where you don't get to meet somebody anymore. This as a validation that the person actually understands your thoughts and wants to know you more.
Yeah.
Feel great, and it just puts you in that spot that yes, there are other women like you who think the way you think. Because honestly, before the show came out, I was extremely scared as to how people would perceive me and my story, right?
Yeah.
I had never come across, or I'd never met women who thought in a similar manner like this.
Mm-hmm.
So when the show came out and the kind of response I got, I was amazed to see that there was so many people, including men, who felt what I was saying.
Yeah.
So for me to you on my Instagram, I said, hey, I've done really right. Like really right.
Yeah, so, and I feel the same about you. So I think that we're both fangirl over each other, and you can feel people's vibration, right? You can feel people's vibe, and I think that I hope to meet you one day. I think this is what the exciting thing is. I come, one of my next trips when all of this is over is I was trying to go to India actually right before the lockdown, and then everything happened. So that's on my agenda, and I will DM you and we will meet. And that's the beauty of the world we live in.
I'm forward to that. I'm looking forward to meeting so many other friends I've made in months, and everybody unfortunately lives in America. So
I need to come. You will have you will have a big press tour when you come here, Ankita. I guarantee it.
I don't want to have a press tour. I just want to come and hang all of you. That's it. Yeah. That's all I want to do.
Well, I look forward to welcoming you. You can come to the Bay Area, to San Francisco anytime, and I'll take you out for a drink, for coffee, whatever you want. And I know that a lot of people will welcome you wherever you go. So
I think the same holds true for you too.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for writing the article that you did, and I'm really going to hold on to it for the rest of my life. Because
thank you.
You have those vows. How you had that one vow hanging in your bathroom.
Yeah.
I think that article for me that I look back to every time I feel like I can't do this.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. That means a lot. Thank you. Yeah. I feel honored by that, and for all of us, we just have to remember that there is power in our stories, and we don't have to hide. That for me was a big motivation. I felt like I had to hide because my life didn't go the way that I thought it would, and that others wanted it to go for me. And when we can be honest with ourselves, there is so much liberation that comes from ourselves, for ourselves, and like people connect with you, and that's how we're here. Is you were yourself, you honored yourself, you were not afraid of holding back, and look at the response you received from that. So that's wonderful.
Thank you so much, Shibani. I'm obviously going to be in touch with you now. So
yeah, definitely. And we'll do this again. We'll do it in person. And I'm happy. Thank you so much for supporting me and, promoting my article and bringing me onto your platform. And as you noticed,
I
appreciate it. Thank you.